Look what just arrived, Tarot at the end of the rainbow. Now this is from David Corsi. If you don't know who David Corsi is, like where have you been? Got like the Gregory Scott Tarot and a dozen other tarot decks that David has made, and they are magnificent. One of my favorite decks of all time right there. So I'm hoping that this is going to be another one. Now, the reason that I like David, or David, or how do you pronounce it? The reason I like David's work is because he puts a lot of extras. So you have a lot of extra things within the imagery and things like that. It's just not just a Rider-Waite clone. It is filled with quite a few extra meanings and extra symbolism pieces and things like that that make the reading much more enjoyable than just like a standard Rider-Waite clone, in my opinion. So we got a deck of cards with a standard little white book. And let's break this open and see how it goes, if we can get the plastic off. They do a good job with the plastic, I gotta say. All right, so let's stop the camera shaking and go look through the cards. Tarot, the end of the rainbow. Very standard little white book, card meanings. There's a High Priestess, Empress, and whatnot, so you can pause and read that if you want. Anyway, yeah, so it's an LS deck, and there is obviously the back. And here is the front. So let's take a flip through and see what kind of good stuff we got. Very cool indeed. A little leprechaun action as it goes. I like it already. I love the colorful, very colorful deck. Lots and lots of detail too. That's a David Corsi art, right? You're just gonna get a lot of detail as far as the imagery goes. All the little flowers have a lot of detail, so it's pretty good indeed. Cardstock is rather thin, I gotta say. I mean, you're coming up to like here. Cardstock is pretty thin, so if you're looking for like the 350 GSM, I guess, deck, this may not be it. High Priestess, I do like, that's interesting. I do like sort of the Isis type thing there with the in between the trees. The Empress is cool too. Kind of looking at herself, I guess that's a mirror. I guess that's kind of cool. Have like the little cliffs in the background, a little more leprechaun action as it goes. And then again, we have more, it's kind of like a hooves. It's interesting that their feet are hooves for the Emperor. We got the Hierophant with, ooh, very colorful Hierophant. And I like the sort of the Irish tint to that. And then we have the Lovers with interesting indeed. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. All right, so now we have Chariot coming in. I mean, it does use the leprechaun theme, I guess. I mean, I guess I was just, okay, you have this and you have this. I guess I was looking for something a little bit different. Chariot's kind of cool. I mean, I guess coming in here with friendship and the Leo aspect of strength. So there you go. I like that. Kind of got a little fairy tint to it. There we go. Okay, Hermit action. Hermit looks kind of unusual. And the wheel. I like the wheel being a rock. That's kind of cool, because the wheel may be indeed a wheel. Yeah, not as good as the Gregory Scott Tarot, in my opinion. It's sort of, I don't know, it's interesting. Let's keep looking through it though. Justice, kind of cool. Got the double-edged sword, which kind of has a lot of built-in meanings with that. And then we have sort of the Hanged Man, just sort of trying to get the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And then we have a little bit of the, I mean, okay, sure, we can do that. Very unusual. Flag and the Mask of Death. Let's see what else we got. We got Temperance coming in again with the hooves or the claws or whatever have you. I guess the claws of the bird type feel. Sure, here we go. We can do the devil like that. It's interesting. A little bit of a Cthulhu action, there. Tower, as always, pretty interesting. Tower on top of a cliff, on top of a hill, kind of brings extra meaning to it. And we have, okay, the star. I like it. Interesting, sort of a mermaid slash fairy type, I guess. Moon, okay, interesting. Sort of the horse, the creature, I don't know, sort of the Loch Ness monster type of creature. And then we have the sun, which looks pretty good. And we have the, I guess, the death and rebirth, and then finally the world. That's interesting. You know, tree of life, you got to kind of put that in there somewhere, a little bit of a hint of a tree of life, probably not the actual symbolism there. Ace of Cups, here we go. So looks pretty cool. And then we have the Two of Cups. That's interesting, sort of the merging the mermaid and the land. I kind of like it. We got the Three of Cups with the celebration at the end of the rainbow. And we have the Four of Cups, not really wanting everything, but the fairies are going to bring in the gifts anyway. The Five, the Lord of Disappointment. I'm not sure what's going on there, but there's an end of the rainbow that's still reachable. I mean, you got a bridge over here. You can still reach it. Then we got the Six, sort of the family, friendship, sharing. I like it. Then we have the Seven with all the possibilities. Different astrology signs. Sure, different astrology signs are going into that. That's kind of cool. And then we got the Eight, abandoning the cups in a doorway. That's also interesting where we have doorways in some of these tarot decks where normally they wouldn't be. Eight is kind of a place where people do dump a lot of doorways in, though. Yeah, anyway, yeah, the Nine, that's a little bit of a greedy look. A little bit of a greedy look there, right? There you have the Treasure. It looks more like a Four of Pentacles feel than a Nine of Cups, but sure. Ten of Cups, happy home, happy family. And we have the happy family there, the younger family. And then we have the, I assume the Page there with, that's a very large dude compared to the cows. If that's a perspective, that's a very large man. Yeah, then we have the Knight, I guess, riding on a frog. Very cool. And we have the Queen. The Queen action looks pretty good. And the King. A lot of rainbow type colors, even when there is no rainbow. But there is a rainbow here, with the hand bringing in the Ace of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles, choices, decisions to be made. Very cool. Not as much extra symbolism as I was hoping in this. I was hoping for another Gregory Scott Tarot, quite frankly, but I did not get that. But I still think it looks pretty decent. Three of Pentacles, sort of working on it, working on the rainbow maybe. Looks like Shrek. It looks like Shrek and his two brothers. And then we have the Four of Pentacles, the Greed, the Leprechaun, Greed, I guess. And then the Five of Pentacles. Everything's locked. Everything's locked. Interesting. It is not only there, maybe it's locked away. Six, we're sort of giving and sharing our wealth. Seven, we're digging, we're planting, we're getting the planting done. Eight, we're hard at work, getting the specifics done. And nine, enjoying the fruits of our labor. We started at the Seven with all the plants sprouting, all of the Pentacles. And the 10, happy family with the older family, with the old man, the dog, in this case the bird, another bird, and the grandparents, the grandchild. We have the Page. Is that a tombstone? Like what's going on here? Is that a tombstone? Kind of interested. Almost looks like he's casting a spell with that in World of Warcraft or something. And we got the Knight. Knight is riding a skunk. Is that a skunk or is that a raccoon? Not really sure. I don't know what that thing is. Queen, kind of cool. Sort of a queen embedded within the forest. And then the King, sort of armored up and ready to rock and roll. Then we have the Ace of Wands. The Two, it's interesting they dropped the globe. So the globe is not in hand. That's interesting. The Three, looking out across the lands instead of water with ships. We have just mountains. We have the Four, the happy home, the sturdy home. The Five, defending ourselves against the Fae. Cool. We have the Six. Okay, I guess the Six is just sort of there. We're sort of riding in. We have our supporters that are missing. Instead, we just have a bunch of leaves. We have the defensiveness of the Seven, the movement of the Eight. I've not seen movement go downward like that before. Kind of interesting. Is that downward or upward? What is going on there? That's movement normally is left to right, but I like the perspective of that. The rainbowish wounded warrior. We have the encumbered thing, and we have a little bit of a Page. It's kind of an old style for a page with the old beard and whatnot. And we got a Knight, Queen, and king. Okay, I like it so far. Let's take a look at the last suit, the swords. Ace of swords, I like it. I think it's interesting. We're sort of erupting out of the earth. The two of swords, all the swords have rainbows, I guess. It's pretty traditional, two of swords. Three of swords, ooh, the heart is made up of forestry, made up of wood, all that stuff. And the four, the resting, the relaxation, the planning, the making strategies, the delays caused by that. And then we have the five, kind of cool. And we have the six. So the six looks pretty cool. I like that. It has like a Game of Thrones feel to it, which is kind of interesting. And we got the seven. Seven has a good perspective and whatnot. And then we have the eight with the restrictions of the eight, where it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't have the restrictions there. Okay, nine, the worry, the concern. I like that. And then the 10. Oh, you know, killed on the rainbow. That's an interesting perspective there. Page, it looks a little like a troll from World of Warcraft, I guess. We got the knight. Ooh, that knight is pretty. That's a good looking art. And the queen, and finally the king. Overall, it's interesting. It's interesting. I guess I wanted something a little more. I mean, it's interesting and I like it. I like the colors. The cardstock could be a little better. I do like the colors. I like the dynamic feel of it. It doesn't have the same depth, in my opinion, as the Gregory Scott Tarot, which had a lot of depth, a lot of thinking that went into the cards. Yeah, some of the cards are just like, why did we do that? But overall, I love the colors. I like the theme. I think it's interesting. Something that I would definitely use, maybe like once in a stream, but definitely not all the time for sure. But that's just my opinion. Tell me what you think about the tarot at the end of the rainbow. Thank you for watching, and please hit like and subscribe.